Hello and welcome back to Radiant Dawn 0% Growths. We're on 4E3. Last chapter, I forgot to say who the MVP was, the previous chapter, which was a terrible shame because it was Nasala as a reward for getting to SS Strike, or, well, I guess getting to SS Strike is a reward, but whatever. He was the MVP, and then last chapter it was Nyla for, I guess, killing a bunch of guys in enemy phase, whatever. This chapter, another defeat boss. This time the boss is Degensia. Like the Black Knight, he's got built-in Nihil, but he also has... Well, that's part of his Mantle skill, which also nullifies all damage from non-blessed weapons. So I'll go over the blessed weapons in a bit. But that's going to be like sort of the name of the game in terms of taking down bosses going forward. He's also got a mastery skill, so similarly we're going to want to use our own Nihils to counteract that. And he has got massive, massive stats. Fortunately, he's not actually that difficult to take down, surprisingly enough. Well, I suppose that depends on how you look at it. Maybe, like, once you know how it's easy, but before you know how it's pretty difficult, it would probably be a more accurate way to say it. There's not that many steps to it, but it is, like, fairly precise at least. So who is going to be doing that? Well, we've got Nihil on 3 people: Kainigus, Gifka, and Stefan. All 3 of them are capable of doubling his 30 speed, and they have the highest damage output against him of any of the characters who can double Degensia, thanks to the fact that we have blessed a Wormslayer, which boosts Stefan's attack from 38 to 60 with the 22 extra might from the bonus damage, or the effective damage. Renning does do a little bit more because he has higher strength, but he doesn't double. So Stefan's 60 is the third highest after Kainigus' 66 and Gifka's 64 of the people who can double. The other Lagoos, like Scrimmer does 59, though he doesn't double anyway. Tibarn does 56. Nyla does 54. Nasala does like 52? Yeah, 52. And then, on down from there. So that's basically, it's going to be basically the 3 of them to take down the Dragon King. Other things to note about this chapter, are there even any? Not so much that are relevant to... Oh, I guess I should mention support stuff. A little bit, at least. So, I gave Tibarn and Stefan a support. This is like literally just for this chapter thing, but that gives... They both have the Heaven Affinity, which gives them plus 18 to hit. Tibarn isn't going to use it, but Stefan does not have the greatest of hit rates against Degensia with the Wormslayer, so this is intended to address that problem. I also added a Gifka Kainigus support. I'm anticipating... they don't need this damage this chapter, but I'm anticipating wanting the damage in one or both of the next 2 chapters, and in general just wanting to put... Like, the Dark Affinity is one of the plus damage or plus attack supports, and I want to get those onto people who are dealing damage anyway, and Kainigus certainly qualifies for that. I also added Scrimmer and Nyla for similar reasons, Scrimmer giving Nyla some extra damage. My plan is to switch Tibarn to Nasala. Nasala also will give, damage to each of them, but we don't need it for this chapter. The other people who give attack bonuses are Micaiah, who just cannot really be in position to help anybody anyway. I mean, we could replace Micaiah with Soth maybe if we're really desperate for 1 point of damage at some point, but I don't know. Kurth Naga, I haven't decided what to do with that. Maybe I'll figure something out in a later chapter. And then Oliver, which kind of the same thing. I don't really expect him to be close enough to be helping out, but anyway, I think with that we can go ahead and get started. So, we're going to be setting up a chant up here. Kainigus there, and Gifka there. Gifka doesn't even need to use the Lagoos gem, because at the the blessed weapons thing, we get like the Lagoos all like get ready to shift as a consequence of that. Oh, I guess I didn't talk about the other blessed weapons. Most of them don't matter, honestly. Ike is required to bless the Ragnell. I blessed the Vague Kadi on Stefan and the Worm Slayer on Renning, so Renning doesn't have his own blessed weapon. It's just like 2 swords. Shinon got the double bow blessed. And Soth got the Peshkat's blessed. I had talked earlier about potentially giving him an armed scroll so he could use the base lard, but I have decided that it makes more sense to give Micaiah the extra staff rank so that she can use the rescue staff for next chapter. I don't know for sure if I need to do that. I don't know for sure if it's going to help. But like, come on, we're probably not even going to deploy Soth after this chapter. We didn't need to deploy in this chapter. And then Cymbeline, the Meteor instead of the Cymbeline for Sonic Key, but again, I'm not even sure I'm going to deploy her after this, so whatever. Like I said, most of this doesn't really matter. Anyway, Micaiah can go ahead and shove Raphael forward. We can have Ike shove Shinon forward. He needs to be shoved again. Can we do that with Soth? Nope. Well, we can shove Raphael with Sonic-y, that's for sure. And we do need to shove Stefan. How about we do that with Oliver? Get him up to here. And while I'm thinking about it, we can go ahead and have Tibarn rescue Ina. Come up here, and we can go ahead and chant. Still need to get Shannon up there, though. Nyla, how about you? Alright, and that'll get Shannon in position to do the thing that he was more than anything brought to the tower to do, which is kill this guy with a crossbow. And then we're going to have Tibarn come up and drop off Ina right there. And then that is going to give us some extra damage, which we definitely need. Starting with Kanagus, we're going to attack the +5 damage, so we're doing 10 extra damage total as a result of that. Then Gifka is not going to use the damage boost. He's going to come over here. Because we can only use it with 2 of the 3 characters, and we want to use it with Stefan. And the reason we want to do that is because of the hit rate, because it also gives him +5 skill. So between the +5 skill from Blood Tide and the plus like 18 hit rate, so he goes like with the 18, or yeah, I guess he gets like 28. I think plus 28 hit between those two things, so he would normally be at like 59, and now he's at 87. 87 is a lot better than 59, it turns out. Also, something to note here is that Deginsia does 44 damage to him. He's standing on a +10 defense cover tile, so if he weren't standing this, he would get 1 shot. Although I do have a Draco shield that I haven't used, so I could have used that, but I didn't. And there you have it. 4E3 in just 1 turn. It's been a while since I've 1-turned anything. I don't actually remember what the last chapter that I 1-turned was, if there even are any. Think about that. It's quite possible this is the first chapter I've 1-turned in the entire game. I mean, I know that it's possible to 1-turn 2E, but I didn't. I couldn't actually do it myself, and yeah, I can't think of any others. Well, anyway. So, like I said, yeah, I mean, it ends up looking pretty easy, when you play it out like this, but it does. There's definitely some non-obvious things going into it, I think, like using the Blood Tide and blessing the Worm Slayer and the fact that base level Stefan has just enough damage to make that work. Like, we're literally, well, I mean, we did get the extra, the extra 2 damage in from the support, the Gifka Koenigus support, but like, without that 2 damage, we have exact damage, on the kill here. So, yeah, in fact, I was not sure that this was going to be one turnable, because, like, I knew that using the Worm Slayer is part of, like, a typical, like, 1-turn clear of this, but I wasn't sure that, that with, like, 0% growths, i.e. base level Ike, that would be doable. But it turns out Stefan just has enough strength to make it possible. Although I do actually have 2 energy drops that I could have used as well to solve that if he didn't quite have enough. But I want to save those for trying to clear the next couple of chapters faster, and I managed to, so hooray for that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time for 4E4, the penultimate chapter. Until then.